Hello mga ka-learners! After knowing the effects of drug abuse and the reasons behind its occurrence, what are the ways to respond to them? Paano ang mas maayos na kinikilos at ginagawa sa sitwasyon? Do you know of a solution to drug problems? Baka may naiisip kayo na makatutulong para gumanda ang sitwasyon o mapababa ang kaganapan ng pag-abuso sa droga. What are the possible treatments for drug users and addicts? These are what we are going to study in this lesson, the final lesson to the two-part module on addictive and dangerous drugs. In this lesson, we will discuss methods of preventing drug abuse and identify ways of helping people who use addictive and dangerous drugs. In many countries around the world, governments and communities have realized that one of the best ways of responding to the drug problem is reducing or preventing the factors which encourage drug use. This means stopping the problem of drug abuse before it actually begins or preventing more people from becoming drug addicts. This involves educating people on issues concerning the different types of addictive and dangerous drugs and the ill effects of drug abuse. Drug education campaigns include putting up posters, setting up forums and seminars, educational programs in schools, videos, brochures, and advertisements in newspapers, radio, and television that educate people about drugs. Other prevention programs are designed to enhance protective factors and reverse or reduce known risk factors. Protective factors are those that decrease the possibility of drug use. Risk factors are those that increase the possibility of drug use. Examples of these factors are shown in this table. To avoid drug abuse and circumstances that may lead to it, you can follow the following rules. Number 1. Avoid people who you know use addictive and dangerous drugs. Number 2. Maintain good physical and mental health. Number 3. Understand your own self. Accept and respect yourself for who and what you are. Number 4. Develop your potential. Engage in wholesome, productive, and fulfilling activities. Number 5. Learn to relate effectively with others. Number 6. Have somebody with whom you can communicate your problems freely. Number 7. Learn to cope with your problems and other forms of stress without using drugs. Number 8. Develop a strong moral and spiritual foundation so you can say no to drugs if tempted by your friends. Individuals, families, and groups can do much to reduce the problem of drug abuse in the communities. They can do the following. Number 1. Be informed about all kinds of drugs. Accurate information can help you understand the drugs you and your family are using so as to avoid abusing such drugs. Knowing the bad effects of a drug also helps a person avoid it. Number 2. Think about the drugs you and the rest of your family use, as well as when and why they are used. Think about any family problems that might lead to drug abuse. Consider also social, sexual, financial, or health problems. Number 3. Talk to each other about your problems. Family communication is important. You can also try talking with a priest or religious leader, a barangay official, a neighbor, friends, and other responsible individuals. Number 4. Look for alternatives to drug use and encourage everyone to use other healthier ways to relax or to deal with difficulties. Many problems like stress, anxiety, boredom, and even physical pain can be relieved without using drugs. Alternatives to drug abuse include engaging in sports or any other worthwhile hobbies. Number 5, get active in your community to help prevent drug problems. Talk to the local school, church, community group, sports club, or parents association about programs to increase drug awareness. Number 6, get advice and help if you or anyone in your family has a problem with drugs. Remember, there are many people and organizations who can help. Number 7, push for legislation against the use of illegal drugs. This means encouraging the enactment and enforcement of laws against drug abuse. The providers and suppliers of illegal drugs should be punished. There should be laws safeguarding the health of the people. If there are existing laws, they should be implemented. The following are critical areas for prevention. Family relationships. There should be good family communication, discipline, and firm and consistent rulemaking by parents of young children. Parents need to take an active role in their children's lives, including warning them about addictive and dangerous drugs. They should monitor their children's activities, get to know their friends, and understand their children's problems and personal concerns without abusing their children's privacy. Peer relationships. The person should be able to choose his or her friends wisely, preferring those who have no vices such as drug abuse. He or she should also learn to say no or refuse the offers or suggestions of his or her peers to try drugs. It is much better to engage in sports and other wholesome hobbies or activities with friends than experiment with drugs. The person should be able to improve communication skills and enhance positive social behaviors by engaging in athletic activities or joining clubs or organizations. School environment. The school should encourage academic performance and strengthen positive values among their students. Curriculums should support the students' development in social skills. Students should also be taught about the negative effects of addictive and dangerous drugs. Community environment. The community should be involved in the fight against addictive and dangerous drugs. It should engage in civic, religious, law enforcement, and government organizations. Community-based programs such as advertising restrictions and drug-free school zones can also contribute to the prevention of drug abuse. Drug education and drug awareness. This involves conducting forums, seminars, and activities that focus on addictive and dangerous drugs campaigns. These activities may be carried out in coordination with organizations, private, religious, and school sectors. These activities may also encourage rehabilitated victims of drug abuse to speak about the dangers of using addictive and dangerous drugs. Let's check what we learned about drugs and their types. Identify if the statement is correct. Number 1. Drug education in secondary schools is an example of a preventive solution to the problem of using addictive and dangerous drugs. True, schools provide an important opportunity for teaching young people about the damages of addictive and dangerous drugs and how they can resist the temptation of using drugs. Number 2. Having parents who are understanding and open to their children could prevent the use of addictive drugs in the family. True, our parents play a significant role in preventing drug abuse. Children who are able to talk to their parents about their problems are less likely to resort to addictive drugs. Number 3, a person who is well informed about the harmful effects of addictive and dangerous drugs will use these drugs. False. One way of preventing drug abuse is by educating people about the harmful effects of drugs. Knowing these harmful effects would make people think twice before using addictive and dangerous drugs. Number 4, the community has a role in preventing the use of addictive and dangerous drugs. True, the community plays an important role in the prevention of drug abuse. Communities should make a clear stand against addictive and dangerous drugs through legislation, law enforcement, community-based education programs, creation of drug-free zones, and restrictions on drug advertising. Number 5, drug education can be promoted in the community through forums and seminars against the use of addictive drugs. True, forums and seminars could properly disseminate information about addictive drugs and their harmful effects to members of a community. Number 6, one way an individual could prevent drug use is by focusing on other activities such as sports. True, engaging in activities such as sports will help focus our thoughts and energy on healthy alternatives instead of putting ourselves at risk by using addictive and dangerous drugs. Number 7, having friends who use addictive drugs could encourage you to use these drugs. True, peer pressure is one reason why many people use drugs. Having friends who use and abuse addictive drugs may encourage individuals to take drugs to be socially accepted in a group. Others are influenced to take drugs out of curiosity. Number 8, trying out a drug just once is a safe and effective way to find out its effects on the human body. False. Experimenting with drugs, even if it is done once, is dangerous and may even lead to addiction. Number 9, the best resource speakers for drug education campaigns are rehabilitated victims of addictive drugs. True, rehabilitated victims are very credible in relating the harmful effects of addictive drugs because they have experienced these effects. Number 10, the best way a family can help prevent the use of addictive and dangerous drugs is to avoid talking about the issue of drugs at home. False. A family that avoids talking about drugs at home is not helping to fight drug abuse. Families should be informed about drugs and they should communicate with each other about their problems. This includes talking about drug abuse, the effects of drug use, and what they can do to help fight the use and abuse of addictive drugs. How did you do? Remember that drug abusers can still be treated. It is a matter of understanding their needs and problems. In treating a drug abuser, it is important to involve the people who are close to them. Their physical condition should also be evaluated in order to determine the kind of treatment he or she requires. If there are drug abusers, there are also medical services and rehabilitation centers that will help cure them of their addiction and prevent them from becoming drug dependents. These centers provide the following services: preventive services such as forums and seminars on the different types of addictive drugs, their harmful effects, and possible measures that the family and community can take to prevent drug abuse. Early interventions such as drug education campaigns, drug testing, and health screening programs like chest x-rays to pick up early signs of health damage, which can detect drug abusers. Early identification of drug abusers can help their families, schools, and communities provide necessary measures to address the problems and needs of the drug abusers, and/or to adopt appropriate treatments for drug dependency. Rehabilitative services such as medical care and psychiatric care for drug abusers. Medical care includes hospital confinement until the drug user has recovered from the harmful effects of addictive drugs. Psychiatric care involves looking into the mental condition of a drug dependent. It includes consultation with psychologists, psychiatrists, and even taking medications as treatment for the damaging effects of an addictive drug on the person's mental health. Some addictive drugs, such as cocaine, shabu, and marijuana, may severely affect the mental condition of a person and may even result in brain damage or severe mental disorders. Long-term treatment includes counseling, regular checkups, home visitations, and family group therapies. Family group therapy is a counseling method that requires the participation of a drug user's family as support for the treatment of the drug dependent. Drug abuse is not only a problem of the individual drug user or their family, but of the entire nation as well. Over the past 20 years, there has been an increasing population of drug users and abusers. It is possible that all communities have drug dependence and are therefore affected by the drug problem. However, we should not be discouraged because the drug problem has a solution. But we must remember that this solution requires everybody's help. The different sectors of society should work together to prevent drug abuse. Here's what they can do. The government can build rehabilitation centers and conduct drug education programs nationwide. It should also strictly enforce laws on addictive and dangerous drugs and punish criminals who import, produce, sell, or promote the use of illegal drugs. Media should act responsibly in advertising. Newspapers, magazines, television shows, and radio programs should inform their readers and viewers about the ill effects of addictive and dangerous drugs. Schools can educate students about addictive and dangerous drugs. They can also involve parents in drug education or awareness campaigns. Non-government organizations, NGOs, can support government programs and services which would cater to drug abuse victims and their families. They can also support drug awareness and drug education campaigns. Churches of different religions can strengthen the morality and spiritual foundation of their members to help minimize the incidence of drug use and abuse. The family can teach its members the concept of what is right and wrong. It should be sensitive and attentive to the needs of its members. The family should help its members talk about and cope with the problems they face in their daily lives. Let's summarize what we have learned so far. There are many solutions to the problem of addictive and dangerous drugs. These involve or include preventive solutions, activities such as drug education and drug awareness seminars designed to prevent or stop drug abuse. These involve the different sectors of society such as families, communities, and government and non-government organizations, schools, churches, and civic organizations. Protective factors such as having a strong, supportive, and caring family. This may potentially reduce an individual's use of addictive and dangerous drugs. Risk factors such as a chaotic home life, living in an environment of drug users, poor social and coping skills, and lack of social interaction and inadequate parental nurturing may encourage people to use addictive and dangerous drugs. Rehabilitative solutions. Solutions to the immediate and long-term treatment of drug dependence. This includes medical and psychiatric treatment which attend to the physical and mental condition of drug abusers. Long-term rehabilitative solutions such as counseling, family therapy, and home visitation, which involve the process of helping drug dependents reflect on his or her problems and see alternative solutions other than using addictive drugs. The problem of drugs is everybody's concern. We should all say no to drugs. Let's join hands in protecting everyone from the harmful effects of addictive and dangerous drugs. Say no to addictive and dangerous drugs. Well, this is the end of part 2 of addictive and dangerous drugs. Congratulations for finishing it. I hope you like the modules and I hope you learned something from them. Para sa karagdagang kaalaman, ugaliing bumisita sa inyong online account kasi ALS tayo. See you in the next module mga ka-learners!